Hi guys, welcome back. In the previous video, we discussed about what supply is. We understood the basics of supply. In this video, we're going to be graphing out the supply curve and we'll also understand what is extension and contraction of supply. By now, we are already aware that supply is the willingness and the ability of the firms to sell, produce and sell output, right? We also know that supply is influenced by price. So price is a very important factor, not only determining demand, but also determining supply, because it creates an incentive or a disincentive for firms to supply more or less. Having said that, we need to understand that whenever the price will change only, whenever there will be a change in price only, supply will increase or decrease, but it will be represented differently than a shift. So it would result into an extension or a contraction in supply, just like we discussed about demand. So firstly, we need to see how the supply curve is drawn. The supply curve is drawn upwards from the left to the right. So this is your quantity axis, quantity supplied. This is the vertical axis, price. So you're going to draw it like this. So yeah, right guys? So no need to draw the supply curve from the origin. That's incorrect. You will not draw it from the origin. Why? You don't need to know the reason at IGCSE level. Just learn how to draw the supply curve and it will be drawn like this, upward sloping from left to right. If you want to touch it to the vertical axis, you can still do that, no harm in it, but don't draw it from the origin like this, okay guys? But this is the best way to draw a supply curve, like this. Even if you touch it to the vertical axis, it's fine, no harm. Anyways, coming back guys, what we see is that now we learn what influence would a price have. So let's say if the price of a product, let's say I'm supplying, let's say chocolates, and I'm a seller for chocolates, and if chocolates become more expensive, and expensive is something that is maybe bad for consumers but good for me, and it's getting expensive because if the price is going up, let's not call expensive, but simply the price is going up, and you will see later that the reason why price goes up has to do with the product becoming more popular and being more demanded by consumers. So if the price is going up, my incentive to sell more chocolates would increase. So this is representing an extension in supply. While if the product is getting unpopular and the price is going down, it's representing a declining market. Why would I be incentivized to sell more or sell this, supply the same amount of chocolates as before? So obviously I'll reduce the supply, right? So this leads us to understanding what extension and contraction in supply is. So extension in supply simply refers to an increase in quantity supplied because of an increase in price only, which means that producers are willing to supply more because of a higher price. And the reason is that they are incentivized to supply more because now they have a profit incentive. They know that when they supply more at the higher price, they know that when they supply more units, Q2 units at the higher price of P2, they will get more profits, right? So this is representing simply an extension in supply as the price is going up, right? And this only happens because of a change in price only, right? Otherwise, if factors other than price will change, we'll see that it causes a shift in supply, which is the topic of the next video. Similarly, when the price goes down, the product becomes unpopular. So obviously the market declines for that product and the price goes down. That results into a contraction in supply. It means that there's a contraction, so there's a movement along the same supply curve, both in the extension and the contraction. Do remember that, most important point. So contraction in supply occurs because when the price goes down, it results into a contraction simply because now I would be supplying fewer chocolates because it's less profitable, right? Because the market is getting declining and the product is getting unpopular, and that's why the price is going down, right? So that's the reason I'm incentivized to supply less of the product now, because of the fact that there's a less profit incentive now, right guys? So the two important things that you learn from this video is the supply curve is drawn upwards, it slopes upward, and a change in price only causes an extension or a contraction in supply. So extension, and we'll call it an extension in supply. The price is going up, we'll say that quantity supplied extends, or simply supply extends, which is representing an increase in quantity supplied but shown as an extension. This is representing a decrease in quantity supplied shown as a contraction, right? So, and the supply curve is not shifting, so there's a movement along the same supply curve, right? In both the cases, there's a movement along the same supply curve. Do not confuse this with increase or decrease in supply, because the words increase or decrease in supply are used when we want to indicate a shift in the supply curve that is caused by non-price factors, right guys? So an extension or contraction in supply occurs when there's a change in price, and that causes a movement along the same supply curve. So that's all for this video guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all in the next video for the shift in supply. Until then, take care.